Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead, where today we're going to be hitting emergency preparedness, food security, and self-reliance, all three of our main topics, when we do steam canning of raspberry peach jam. I'm so excited about this. Now, I'm doing something, of course, that's a little experimental. I am combining recipes between peach jam and raspberry jam. There are some recipes by individuals out on the internet for raspberry peach jam. I just wanted to be sure that I'm secure with USDA recommendations. I read USDA recommendations, and what they say is follow the instructions with the pectin that comes with the pectin that you're going to use. So I'm using Sure Jell. Here is their set of directions. And I am combining raspberry with peach, improvising just a little bit. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed that everything is going to work out. I calculated mathematically how much sugar to use, so we'll see how that goes, because pectin, in order to work, requires sugar. Also, this recipe requires real lemon juice, which is a departure for sometimes what the USDA says, not to use fresh lemon juice, but to use bottled lemon juice because the pH is a constant. But the Sure Jell recipe says fresh lemon juice, so that's what we're going to be using today. Here are the two fruits mixed together in my favorite bowl, my jam pan, my Maslin pan. Now this is on our Amazon store if you want to take a look at the description. And what I am using is 3 cups of crushed raspberries and 2 cups of finely chopped peaches. I used frozen fruit for this today. And one thing I really liked about the Sure Jell recipe was that it called for the fruit to be mashed before you measure it. And that worked out so well, and it called to use a dry measuring cup. So I used this measuring cup up to the top and leveled off with 3 cups of raspberries that had been already crushed and 2 cups of finely chopped peaches. And that's what you saw here. So the next thing that we do is that I'm going to stir the fruit together. I'm going to turn the heat on. And keep it on high. And then I'm adding the lemon juice. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Fresh lemon juice. And then it says to stir, and here's the Sure Jell pectin that I'm using. To add the pectin and stir, and add a half a teaspoon of butter or margarine. In this case it is ghee, if you want to cut down on the foaming. This is the first time I've ever done that. I usually don't care about the foaming, but I thought that I would try it this time. I've never tried it before, so we'll see how well it works. So I'm stirring everything together. We're going to get this boiling, and it needs to boil hard, stirring constantly until I can no longer stir down the boil. So we will come back when it gets to that point. All right, this is what it means when it says the boil that cannot be stirred down. No matter how much I stir, that keeps on boiling while I'm stirring. Now we add the sugar all at one time. And we stir the sugar in and bring it back to a rolling boil. Once we reach the same point where we can't stir down the boil, then we time it for exactly 1 minute and get it into the jars. The recipe called for the jars to be sterilized because the processing time at sea level is 10 minutes. Those of you that are currently taking the water bath canning class or have taken it know that If the processing time is more than 10 minutes, you don't need to sterilize, and that is according to the USDA. Well, because of our elevation, I have to add 10 minutes, and so we'll be processing these for 20 minutes. Therefore, I did not need to sterilize my jars. So the jars are sitting over there ready to go just as soon as this jam is ready to go. So we'll be back when it's ready. We've reached that point again. I've got to set the timer for 1 minute. Hey Siri, set timer for 1 minute.
1 sec.
1 sec, we don't have 1 sec.
Working on that.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Hey Siri, stop timer. Hey
There are
Siri.
no timers set.
Hey Siri, set timer for 30 seconds.
30 seconds, counting down.
Stirring constantly, constantly. We are going to steam can this. The recipe is a water bath canning recipe, but water bath and steam canning, same. Same processing time, same direction, same everything. Okay, there we go. Turn it off. And quickly ladle into the jars. Because I adjusted the recipe, I'm just going to do a quick acid test with litmus paper. Oh gosh, yes. We are between 2 and 3, we are good to go. And we should have about 4 pints. And we got almost all of it. There will be just enough to lick the pan. I can already tell this is going to set up beautifully. Okay, I have a paper towel here dampened with water. No need to do vinegar since there isn't any oil involved here. Finger tight. All right, let's go get these over in the steam canner. So I'll meet you just right over here. It's been on simmer. Now I'm going to turn it up to about 7.5. And once I see some really good steam coming out from under the lid or through this little hole right here, I will start timing for 20 minutes, but not until we have a good head of steam coming out from the pot. So I will show you when that happens. All right, we're getting a very good head of steam, which means that each of those jars is now completely surrounded by steam. You can see it up there if you look at the light, and this wall is sweating like crazy, so we know that it's, I almost wish it would come out a different spot. Okay, here it comes out the front, but it's everywhere. So I'm setting the timer. Hey Siri, set timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, counting down.
All right, so in 20 minutes we will be back. And actually, I'm going to let them sit in there. After the timer's over, I'll turn the heat off, let them sit in there for a couple of minutes, and then we will get them out. Okay, here they are. They're so beautiful. The minute I took the lid off, 2 of them popped immediately. The others may have already done it as well. But these are just gorgeous. And they taste fantastic. The peach with the raspberry is just an unbeatable flavor. Jim and I both love raspberries, and that it's not quite as tart as pure raspberry jam would be, but it has mellowed out into that peachy taste a little bit, and it is a fantastic blend. And it gelled great. So I know that these are going to gel too. We kind of licked the pan after it was all said and done. Now, I do need to correct one misconception. I'm out of practice being in the classroom, and as a teacher of science, I was always, and as a professor of science, I was always extraordinarily careful about my language, using correct language so as not to create misconceptions in the minds of my students, especially when I was teaching future elementary school teachers. Who sometimes are prone to do that. And so when I was showing you the steam, oh, there went one, showing you the steam, I said, so the stone is really sweating. Well, I don't want anyone to think that stone ever sweats. What I really should have said was, look at all the condensation on the stone from the hot steam hitting the cooler rock, condensing that steam into liquid. So no misconceptions about sweating stones. Anyway, this was a fantastic experiment that turned out just great. Not every experiment turns out great, but that's the fun of experimenting, is the quest for new ways of doing things sometimes are strewn with failures time and again. But this was a great success. So I hope you try this recipe. And I will put it at the bottom of the video, just the ingredients. But then your methodology will need to come from whatever pectin you choose to use. But I'll give you the amounts of what I used of the fruits and the sugar. So thanks so much for joining us for this exciting experiment. And we will see you very soon with another video.